Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Dragoon TV. I'm Dragoon, of course, and welcome to today's guide. Today we're going to be talking about Protoss. For any of you who are barely finding out about this wonderful game known as StarCraft 2, welcome, and welcome to Protoss. If you are currently looking for a race, I highly recommend Protoss. I play it quite frequently, although it is not my main. It is probably the easiest to get into, not necessarily the easiest to learn, but here we're going to talk about it today, and we're going to see how much exactly we can get into with today's build, along with welcome to StarCraft 2 and welcome to Protoss. I also want to refer you to a few other people that might actually help you with some other little tiny things, little details that might help you be able to play the game a little bit better. There's Day9, In Control, Husky, Total Biscuit, Artosis, and Apollo, and that's just to name a few. If you want to, you can go throughout YouTube and be able to look these people up. I highly recommend them. But today's build that I'm going over is a quick starter build. It's to help Protoss beginners learn the basics necessary to carry them into the more complicated strategies and overall higher ranking play. That being said, this build that I'm going to go over in this video was passed to me by a grandmaster that asked me not to necessarily bring up his name, but to in fact just let you know that the build that I'm going to show you is to be able to let people who are in, say, bronze or silver be able to work on their Protoss control and be able to relearn the basics if you've played before and you really need to get back into it, or be able to build the correct habits necessary to be able to play the race correctly. With that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this game, and we'll go over it a little bit, and if anybody has any questions, just leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will try and get back to it as soon as possible. Alright, so let's get right into it, shall we? Alright, put that away. Alright, production tab up, and we will start. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on the camera that is going to show me. It is me against a AI computer, very easy. This is just basically just to give you a rundown of the play as it happens. Let's go ahead and speed it up. Build count goes up to 9 workers, where you build your first pylon and then go into your usual scouting with your first probe. This allows you to be able to basically build up some money and be able to go into the gateway's first build. That's followed by your assimilator to be able to get your gas, along with another pylon, along with the cybernetics, of course, so on and so forth. You're going to want to make sure that you use your hotkeys to be able to hotkey your nexus as well as that scouting probe. Make sure you don't want to lose that scouting probe. It's very, very nice to have to be able to drop down that proxy pylon that is extremely necessary for this build, and to be able to, be able to get used to having that pylon up there to be able to help you out whenever you're doing more higher rank play. Go ahead and slow down a little bit. As you saw, I should probably back up. Going back just a little bit. Alright, right here you see there's no probes on gas right here. And I just put probes in gas just now. I waited till after my cybernetics core went down. You'll also see that I will make a mistake here in just a second. I will actually put down my next assimilator, and I will cancel it. You don't actually want to invest any money right at this very second to be able to save up for your expansion, which will be in your natural. Pause this real quick. Let's see here. So far we have a pretty decent probe count. See here, right now we have 19 probes. Basic computer have somewhere around 15. Your total goal is to around the 10-minute mark to be able to hit between 50 and 55 probes. That will give you a strong enough base to be able to support this, again, this build that I am showing. Alright, So we have this right now, pretty simple. Zealot coming out. Basically, starting is the normal thing. Again, if you're brand new to StarCraft, I'll go ahead and give you a quick little rundown of the beginning of the game. Basically, build probes all the way to 9 probes. You're going to want to take that 9th probe and go and you build your pylon, preferably around the starting area right here of your ramp. This allows you to be able to block with buildings, that way you can make a funnel, which will be right here, and be able to block any sort of cheesy movements. Basic reason for doing this in early ranks is because that cheesy play is very common, but also it's a good habit to get into whenever you're playing people, or whenever you're playing races such as Zerg, which can potentially 6-pull you, which is a very fast attack that will come to you at around the 3:30 to 4-minute mark, and will do a high amount of damage if you're not prepared for it. So with that in mind, you build probes to 9, you build a pylon. You're going to want to scout. As a early player, that may not be the information you necessarily need by sending that scout over there. You don't really know what you're looking for, but basically what you just want to know is hey, they're there, they're not doing anything funky, you don't see anything strange or anything like that going on. Again, if you're playing Zerg, your key thing that you would look at is the amount of workers he had. If he has a very low amount of workers, you know something's going on. For Terran, it's if you don't see a barracks or supply depot, or just the common buildings they would have at first, you would start to worry, maybe think that the barracks was somewhere in the middle of the map, or he's trying to do something funky like put it in front of your base or something. So just little things to watch out for. 12 supplies whenever you're going to want to throw down that gateway. Gateway is very important. As soon as that goes down and as soon as the building is complete, you're going to want to start a zealot. This will just give you a unit that will be able to help protect yourself from any sort of early game stuff, as well as being able to deny your opponent from being able to scout your base, and that will be a big key thing later on in gameplay, because denying those scouts are very important, because the less they know the better. Afterwards it just goes on from there as more of like a basic need, where you go into another pylon at around between 14 and 16. The Assimilator goes down right after that gateway had gone down, and then as soon as the gateway finishes, you pops that cybernetics core down. You're continuing to make probes. You always want to make sure that your chrono boost is being used to be able to make those probes, and you're being able to support the probe production by being able to throw down those pylons whenever you're needing them. I recommend for your 3rd pylon to be thrown down between 22 and 24. 22 is usually whenever I like to do it. It's usually whenever I have the money gap right in between where the zealot's being built and while I'm still building probes. Let's go ahead and continue this. I also want to add that it is very important that you don't queue more than 2 units at a time in any base or any building at any time. This lets you be able to pool your resources for other units that can be built immediately at the same time. As you saw, that Assimilator was built and then canceled. Continuing to build units out of my gateway. Let's see here. I have 2 zealots. I start building sentries. Sentries are very important to have whenever doing this. Also, you want them out early as possible, so after you have about 2 zealots, your next few units you're going to be building out of that gateway is going to definitely need the sentries to be able to, one, be able to use the gas read that you're harvesting, and 2, be able to have that extra energy in them, so that way you have the ability to be able to use the Guardian Shield and Force Fields quite frequently, whether it be whenever you make the timed attack during this build, or whether it be to defend your base from any sort of early things going on. Another benchmark, I guess, area would be right here. The base went down immediately. You'll see there's already one gateway. There will be 3 more dropped, as well as that simulator that was dropped right as the base was dropped. That will be filled right after the gateways are dropped. And then we'll go into warping in units. Warping in units will be researched at the Cybernetics Core, which needs to be done ASAP. As soon as that building is done building, you will need to research that immediately. You don't necessarily have to chrono boost the research to be able to have the effectivity of this build, but you are going to need to hit that button as soon as it comes up, so that way you have it at a pretty decent time. You should have it around about 6:30 mark, give or take. So, probe should real quick go into gas. Yep, there they went. You have 3 gateways for
research
4.
complete.
Research for gate just finished, and should be taking advantage of fairly quickly. You want to make sure you always have full vision of your base. As a bot game, I really didn't take much thought into it, but you really need to be able to see your base at all times, so that way you make sure that you don't have any proxies or anything like that in the base. So, with that in mind, alright, so you see those other gateways being dropped down. Again, I'm going to pause it one more time. I have both nexuses on a rally point to my expansion. Both of them are on one hotkey. This allows me to be able to queue up workers from both off of one hotkey. I started taking advantage of the warp-ins now, although in a regular game you would want to take advantage of that warp-in immediately and not miss a single one. Only reason I am slightly behind is because if we go back in the replay, which I'm not going to, but just to let you know, if you were to go back into this replay, you would actually see that this base was built 100 minerals late. I built it at around 500 resources, which is way too late. So that will really delay your income and delay your warp-in. So you're going to want to make sure that whenever you drop your expansion, you're going to want to drop it right whenever you have the money for it. That way, whenever all this comes up, you have enough resources to just keep warping in units. And by the 9-minute mark, you should have you should have about 3 times as many units, attacking units in front of your base than I have right here, right now. So, get another play. You notice over here, I went ahead and dropped a pylon. It does get destroyed. I do run away with my probe and make another one, not a big deal. It also seems that usually whenever they destroy a pylon, a lot of the times, some of the lower ranked people do seem to think that they're in a more comfortable situation, so they don't don't necessarily get used to that, but that is something you can take advantage of early to be able to be more comfortable with your gameplay early on, as long as you keep in mind that that will not help you later. Attack's not really going to do anything. Right here, 10-minute mark, I move out. That is the benchmark key right here. 10 minutes, 21 seconds. That is the benchmark. You're going to want to make sure that you have full saturation of this base, full saturation of this base. As that attack should be moving out, you should be getting prepared to be able to move, to be able to expand right here. That should happen right as your attack happens. That way you make sure that you're not going to have to worry about somebody walking over here and attacking the space while it's being built. You have pressure, so that way you keep the enemy busy. That's the main objective of all of this. You should be sitting on 8 warp gates that are consistently warping in. Even when you're attacking, you should be able to warp in right here at your little proxy pylon. And if you notice, I built it pretty darn close, so that way you can just literally walk up this ramp and into their natural, and it's also pretty close to their main as well. trying to think of anything else that I may or may not have gone over. Full saturation is 16 probes on minerals, as well as 3 on each gas. You don't want any more than that, otherwise you start having diminishing returns in your mineral collection. So what you're going to want to do is just, you can go over it, but usually you'll want to stick to around 16. If you go anything over, you'll transfer probes to your natural expansion, and then from that you would transfer it to your next expansion, which is your third. I'll go ahead and let this play the rest of the way. It's not super complicated, it's important. I kind of let the rest of this replay drop. Excuse me. The rest of this replay drop out. I just basically attacked and killed the Terran I'm against, because he's an easy AI and it wasn't something I gave much thought to, so. Warping units, sitting there, attacking, destroying, killing the whole 9 yards. Pause one more time. Usually, majority of the time, they have a wall up here. You're just going to want to have your zealots in the front, your stalkers in the back. Your zealots are basically just going to give uphill vision, just so that way your stalkers can line up along down here and be able to shoot these buildings out and be able to get into their base. Yes, so like I said, your benchmark for the 10-minute mark should be 50 to 55 probes, and you should have a nice generous force of I can't say for sure the exact number for the attacking force, but I would say the numbers up there. I would have a few more zealots, but other than that, the numbers are pretty close here. As you see, the probe count I am a little bit shy of, which is fine. It's not that big of a deal. Again, I wasn't pushing too hard on this replay. It was very short notice, so I have the double forge back here, which I really didn't have to spend the money on. It's just a habit of mine, and that lets you be able to go into ground weapons and ground armor to be able to strengthen your army. You'll see the base being plopped down in a second. If I keep playing the replay, you'll see this start to be built, which that should have been started as soon as the attack was initiated, but again, I slacked a little on the replay.
I'm here.
It doesn't necessarily affect the fact that I can just let you know that that's how it pretty much goes. And yeah, there it went. Alright, so that's pretty much the gist of it. I really don't think there's anything else to go over. Again, if you have any questions about this build, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I can address it. I will go over more advanced builds as well as the other races, and hopefully that will help. I did want to go over this again, like I said, to help those of lower skill or beginning to play StarCraft that want to have something to be able to go off of. If there are enough people that leave a comment asking for me to make a more generalized beginner's tutorial to Protoss or just to StarCraft in general, please let me know. Also, I will be making sure that I keep up with as many of the updates for StarCraft as possible. If at all points you find yourself watching this video and it is out of date and you cannot find a more in-date version of this video, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section, and I will try and re-update and put out a new video to be able to help those who are really interested. I'm fully aware that sometimes finding the correct key to be able to understand this game can be quite hard sometimes, and with that in mind, I did want to be able to publish this video to be able to help those that are starting to get into the games. That way they more enjoy it. Being owned on ladder doesn't necessarily have it's fun times whenever you're not really getting a grasp of a certain concept of some sort. So this should really help out a lot. Hopefully you'll be able to go over it a little bit more frequently and be able to kind of see what I'm talking about when I say that it helps you build all this the essential resources for being able to progress in the ladder. Key elements are always stay on top of your pylon production, always use your chrono boost on your nexus, and you always want to chrono boost something useful, just something. Your probes in the beginning, and then after that you're just going to want to use it. It just helps you in general with being able to keep up with your production. Keep up with probe production, keep up with pylons, keep up with warping in. Warping in is very important with this build. By the 10-minute mark is your benchmark to be able to start pushing out. If it's a little late, that's fine, but you don't want to go over 11 minutes. 11 minutes is too far, and you're pushing the boundaries of, if you're playing against Terran, about the Terran timing push, which happens around then also, which includes medvacs, and without the proper warping in and being able to counter a push, you run the risk of running into a very large Marine Marauder ball that will actually wipe out your force. So that 10-minute time is crucial. This probe production is crucial. The pylons are crucial. The warp-ins are crucial. And chrono boost is crucial. So you're going to want to keep on that as much as possible. So, again, any questions, let me... Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Any questions, please let me know. Please check out my channel on twitch.tv. It is twitch.tv/dragoon92. I will be playing StarCraft as well as Hearthstone, as well as a few other games throughout whatever time I have between work and school. Without further ado, I guess that's pretty much it. So, yeah. Thanks for watching Dragoon TV, guys, and my name is Dragoon, and thanks for watching.